I'm gonna give it those few seconds to just make sure that I'm actually being heard while I speak. Hey guys, so last night I went to see Deadpool 2, and I must say right off the bat that it was an incredibly fun movie to watch. Just like the first one, it had its humor, great pacing, fourth wall breaking, and it's very consistent with the first movie that we saw. So that's something that I particularly enjoyed. So let's get into some of the details, I guess. I should have really filmed this last night because now my memory is kind of foggy. You guys know that I absolutely have no movie retention. But yeah, we get to see Cable, which is a character that we have never seen before in a movie that I'm aware of. And he's supposed to be from the future and is Jean Grey's and Cyclops' son. And it is my understanding that I was explained that what happens to him is he ends up getting some kind of techno virus from Apocalypse, so that's why he looks half machine and half human. And I would have known about that had someone not told me that because I don't read the comics or wherever that information comes from. But I thought that was pretty neat because anything that has to do with like mechanical like people for some reason always fascinated me. So yeah, I have seen the Terminator movies. No, I cannot explain them to save my life, but but I just enjoy this prospect of seeing human like robots, but at the same time I don't want to see them in real life. It would genuinely terrify me, but in a fictional world I don't mind. And basically in this movie, Deadpool is definitely, what can I say? He has like his emotional struggles going on because his girlfriend gets killed, but then apparently she's not so dead anymore because Cable has this time traveling watch thing to where he can go back to the past and the future. And the idea is to prevent this one boy who's 14 years old during our time from killing this one old guy and completely setting ablaze some orphanage and I guess killing every other child that's in there. And they're supposed to be mutants as well, from what I remember. And then there's also this device that can actually completely suppress mutant powers, which to me that was shocking. I was not expecting to see something like that. I mean, we've sort of seen something like that before, can't remember where. But anytime I see that mutants are losing their powers, I'm like, okay, shit's gonna get real. So I cannot wait to see what kind of convenient to the plot device is gonna happen to where you get your powers back, you know? But at any rate, um, I thought it was interesting to have Deadpool um, be joined by other mutants that in the end weren't even that much of an aid to him because they ended up dying. They're supposed to be called the X-Force or something. That was my absolute favorite part of the movie. That entire sequence where they're jumping off from a plane and then they're supposed to be parachuting to, some landing points to reach this one bus like vehicle that has this kid that's a prisoner. Everyone ended up dying, but of course, because of the time traveling thing, some people got saved. And then, if you remember from the trailer, there's like this person who's like, Deadpool asks him, "What's your superpower?" And he just says, "I just saw the ad." And then Deadpool was like, "You're in." Well, that particular guy, his name is Peter. And it was absolutely hilarious because on the team they had another character. I forget his name, but his power was pretty much to throw up acid. And then he ended up getting stuck in some, I forget what this is, but it's some kind of machine that, from what I saw, it was like shredding debris. It looked like a huge, just plowing thing that just shredded something. And then, so when Peter, his landing was safe, but he was trying to assist this vomiting guy, and then he ended up getting vomited on. So because it's acid, his right arm completely just melted. So in the end, he ended up dying, but trying to help someone else. And I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. And then Deadpool had landed on some sign, but he was watching everyone else's landing failures, and it was just the most fun I have seen in a movie in quite some time. Because my favorite line of the whole movie was they have this character called the Vanisher, and if I remember right, he's supposed to be Brad Pitt. And then I thought that is so hilarious because Brad Pitt has actually, at least for me, has been missing in action in every single movie that I have watched, you know? So he ended up landing on some like wires. So he ended up being electrocuted. And Deadpool, prior to that, he was hoping that his landing would be successful. So he said, maybe the wind cannot blow what it can't see. So I would have never thought about such a line. So it it was just so hilarious because I'm like, just because you don't see someone doesn't mean that the material that composes them is not there. They're just invisible to the eye, you know? If you were to from other video game experiences that I have, if you wear like infrared stuff or like thermal goggles of some sort, you will see invisible people. Metal Gear taught me that. So, when Deadpool said that, I'm like, nah, dude, you can tell he's just so going to die. But, anyways, something that I found a little confusing was the entire sequence of him somehow. Anytime he gets knocked unconscious, in a sense, he would go into like this dreamy state, and he would see his girlfriend, and then his girlfriend would advise him on, like, depending on the words she used, it would hint him as to what things he had to do. So, on one of the sequences, she was like, "Your heart is not in the right place." So, of course, clearly, Deadpool, all he thinks about is his girlfriend. But then his girlfriend, in this dreamy state after she died, is like, your heart's not in the right place. And then Deadpool later on discovers that the family that he was trying to start with his now dead girlfriend, he's actually gaining in other ways, like by joining the X-Men, which he totally failed at that. And it's another story. It's completely hilarious, but that is simply not Deadpool's style because hello, the word dead is literally in his name, which means that he's definitely going to kill people, and that's something that the X-Men just don't do. So it created kind of a conflict for him, but at the same time, the X-Men themselves, particularly Colossus, he ended up saying, you know what, we're going to have to change the way we do business and actually roll with Deadpool's plan of you're gonna have to kill at some point, which was pretty shocking because Colossus is like this huge intimidating guy, but at the same time he has like this softness to him, and it's, to me, is crazy. But anyways, I thought it was cool to see Deadpool with the X-Men because they're all mutants. Of course they all have powers, but it doesn't mean that Deadpool is going to be compatible. But anyways, so my favorite part with the X-Men has to be whenever Deadpool would call himself an X-Man, he was like, they would call him the trainee because he was wearing this yellow trainee shirt. And it's funny because they're trying to call him out on the fact that he's not completely an X-Man. And to tell you the truth, I cannot picture Deadpool being an X-Man. I just think Deadpool as being his own character. So, but anyways, I just thought it was fun to see Deadpool in a completely different setting. And then he ends up creating this healthy bond with the X-Men to where that gives him the family that he was probably looking for. He may not have imagined it in that way. Like he thinks of family as I'm married and having kids, or I have a girlfriend and I have kids. But there's a whole nother meaning to what family can be. And for me personally, I find that relatable because if you guys have been listening to me for some time now, you know that I absolutely don't have a family. Like, I do not have a connection with my family. So I can understand what they mean by you can actually pick and choose who your family members become. So, of course, this is just a movie, this is fiction. I'm not trying to say I'm getting life advice from this, but it's pretty useful to see that it gets a script, that I can actually go to a movie, see, and appreciate, and, just have fun with. But, anyways, and then another thing that the girlfriend said was something about shit, I don't even remember. But I know that he enters another dreamy sequence in which she says another phrase and he ends up getting the advice and applying it. So it's really cool. For me, I've always enjoyed when there's a character that for some reason dies, but then you revisit them in a dreamy state. Like, if I remember right, this happened in Thor Ragnarok, where Loki and Thor went and somewhere they saw the king. What was his face again? Anyways, so Odin. So yeah, that fascinates me. The idea of visiting dead people and getting advice from them is pretty cool because when I think about it myself, I'm like, I would do anything to talk to my grandfather. So to see that being done in movies, it always intrigues me. Let me see what you guys are saying. I don't want you to feel like I'm ignoring you. Hi Jordan. I just watched Black Panther, very good movie. Oh yeah, that was an incredibly good movie. While you're here, I would recommend that you watch something called Honest Trailers, Black Panther, and How It Should Have Ended, Black Panther. You're going to have fun with that. I love comic books since forever. I've never really read them, so I'm not going to sit here and claim that I know what I'm talking about. Back in the day after school, I always run home to see Batman animated series. I saw Batman. Is it Batman Beyond where he had the cape that had the red in the inside? If that's it, then I saw some of that, but don't ask me about it because I literally do not remember a thing. I grew up on Superman animated series, Spider-Man, and more. All my life, all I did was watch Terminator and RoboCop. Yeah, those are good movies. Deadpool is a Joker of Marvel telling jokes. Absolutely, I like that part of Deadpool. I feel like most superhero movies tend to be pretty linear when it comes to the personality of the hero, but I find it that Deadpool is more relatable. Spider-Man and Deadpool tend to be like the folks who just don't take life so seriously. So maybe that's why I just really enjoy them. Thank you for telling me about the movie. I'm glad you don't mind. I actually meant to do this stream invisibly, but I forgot. So that's why I'm here. And I wanted to do it invisibly so that in case any of you guys haven't seen it and you accidentally click on it and don't notice the spoilers title, I save you from it. But anyways, I think you would see that on time. You're such a sweetheart. I look forward to your videos. Thanks so much. I missed the second extra ending. The other ending to the movie that I recall was that he ends up killing himself many times over. So, like, he was Ryan Reynolds sitting down on, I think, Professor X's desk or something, and then Deadpool comes from behind him and just shoots him in the head as he was looking at some Green Lantern piece of paper. And then another thing that happened was he goes back to like the X-Men origin scene, which I haven't seen this movie, but I saw this little bit where Deadpool doesn't have like his lips, like he doesn't have a mouth. And then Wolverine is like right across from him for some reason. And yeah, this Wolverine is Hugh Jackman. And then Deadpool ends up shooting himself many times over. Even when he's on the floor, he's like, pow, 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 pow. And I'm like, he's overkilling himself. But then again, Deadpool doesn't really die. And I forgot to ask what's the ultimate way to kill Deadpool. But anyways. And yes, there is another scene where we experience Deadpool's slow regenerative powers with that blind old lady again, and it is absolutely hilarious. This time around, instead of him having a baby hand, he has baby legs. And of course, it gets it's so funny because there's also that guy with the glasses who called him the mashed up avocado in the last movie. He does call him an avocado again, but yeah, that whole scene is it's incredibly like it's uncomfortable, but it's funny. So yeah, you definitely gotta be there for that. But that blind lady, I think she's one of my favorite characters because she's always pointing the gun, of course, in the wrong direction, but she also has some of the most hilarious lines. The Juggernaut was awesome. Yes, and I'm also glad that, like someone mentioned, that they finally referenced him as being Xavier's brother, because I feel like we've never seen that before in another movie, you know. But but yeah, I feel like the Juggernaut just hasn't been used well as a character. Like I always feel like he's the big guy that's really buff and everything and looks intimidating, but he ends up being like dumbed down and easy to defeat. I don't know. I ever did like X-Men movies. They never used their real costumes. Hollywood is cheap. Oh my god! Now that you mentioned the costumes, I agree. I always anticipated seeing Wolverine wearing his yellow. And which movie was it that at the end we got teased about that? Was it Logan? But anyways, he was opening like this briefcase or something, and then we saw the yellow costume. But he's never worn it. Why? Just why? There's this there's this channel called Bat in the Sun, and they did an episode where Wolverine fights Wonder Woman, and that guy is such an amazing Wolverine with that costume. And I even like that version of Cyclops better. So we need a Cyclops like that. And Cyclops also is wearing his blue uniform with like the way that Apocalypse ended, where they teased their real clothes, whatever. Yeah, we need that in a movie already. Why isn't this happening? It shouldn't be that tough. So yeah, sorry, I just went venting right there, but yeah, I honestly feel like I was pretty pleased with the 2003 costumes that they had, like the whole black suit, and then Cyclops's was like sky blue, Jean Grey's was red, Kitty Pryde, which wasn't even an X-Men 2, she was on, what was it? The third one, and she had the pink lines, and then Storm had the white lines, and then Wolverine had orange. I like that uniform. Like sometimes I get on Amazon and I look to see if I can find like the Jean Grey one, because I would absolutely love to wear something like that. But they only have like Catwoman suits. But anyways, then I tell myself, why would I splurge on such a thing if I'm never going to wear it? Like I'm just going to have it sitting there in my closet because I don't want to go out in the streets and look ridiculous, and I don't have any functions to go to where I need to wear that, you know? So I did not wear this jacket to the movies last night. First of all, it was way too hot. And second of all, I don't have that type of spirit, you know? For Fast and the Furious, there were people, I saw like 5 cars that all backed into their parking spots and they all looked sporty. And to me, I thought that was so corny. You know, I'm not trying to kill anyone's fun, but I'm just saying that that's not my type of spirit, you know? So, anyways, um, Marvel versus DC be a great movie. Oh, absolutely. But of course, I don't think those universes can really come together um, for legal reasons. And not only that, but the practicality of it would be insane. So, when it comes to that, I honestly like to see what fans do because I feel like the fans know the characters way better than the people who are producing these movies who only have like a half-ass attachment to it. So I would rather get on YouTube and see what people have to say. Like years ago, it was that whole thing about Batman versus, not Batman, Superman versus Goku. And, you know, everyone was going salty about the results on that one. And I'm like, yo, you guys know a lot about nothing. Why are you upset about nothing? It is nothing. This is not changing your life. We're discussing fiction. But then again, I don't want to shoot down anyone's interests or passions. But I'm just saying, I cannot care like you care, you know? Did you see the second ending credit? I saw whatever came after. I saw 2 things. the one that came up after the initial credits with like the sticky notes or the notes that had the tags on them, and then whichever one followed a few of the um, names. So if there was a third extra scene, then I missed it. But you're asking about the second one, so yeah, all I saw was the one that had what was it? The last one that I remember seeing had um, Deadpool killing himself many times over in different ways. Um, I like that message as well. Nothing wrong to love comic books. Oh, absolutely not. I just feel like because comics have been out for such a long time, I feel like if I try to catch up with them, it would take me such a long time because there's a lot to catch up on. And the setup of reading comics for me is just difficult. Like it's bubbles represent conversations, and then they have the sounds of actions like thuds, thunks, slam, whack. Um, so I mean, it's cool to read that stuff, but I'm a linear reader. Like what I mean by that is, give me pages, pages, stacks upon stacks of pages, and as few pictures as possible because I tend to dwell on pictures. So that's the kind of reader that I am. Comic book tell the real story more than the movie. They always are changing the movie. Yeah, it's in the same manner that Harry Potter movies, everybody's like, did you read the book? If you say that you've seen the movie and you haven't read the book, you cannot say that you love Harry Potter. And I'm like, man, you guys, once again, it's fiction. I'm only willing to invest so much time in it. It's not life changing. It's a waste of time. Leave me alone. Like in Black Panther, there's a channel called How It Should Have Ended. Hilarious. Yes, absolutely. Yes. What they did with Batman versus Superman was also incredibly hilarious. I was able to have more fun with that and appreciate that much more than the actual movie. And I'm not going to sit here and really shit on Batman versus Superman, but I do see why people had issues with that movie. You should have super chats for people to donate. I would love to, but I don't have monetization enabled. I submitted my application to YouTube, and they said that they would have it reviewed by the end of April. Of course, they didn't, and now they're saying toward the end of June. And I'm like, man, you know what? I do this out of the passion of just meeting people, talking to y'all, having fun. So eventually, if I'm able to make money through this, then great. I love that you guys would be interested in helping a sister out, get ahead in the game. But yeah, don't worry. I'm not tripping. I am not going away just because I don't make money here. I've been doing this since before I ever made a dime in here. So yeah. Batman back in 92 to 95 of Bruce Wayne and 2000 Batman Beyond about the new Batman. Yeah. I'll watch the honest trailers for Black Panther. Please do. Please. Please. In fact, you should exit out of this and go check it out immediately. I have to see it again this weekend to see it. X-Men have so much character, so much names. Yes, and honestly, I think I made a video about this a while back, but I was choosing which Marvel characters are my favorite, and I said the X-Men. The X-Men to me are the most interesting. I also know that there are some called the Inhumans. I know nothing about those, but I know that they are a thing. I love the blind lady. Oh yeah, the blind lady is a trip. Yeah, I agree. I thought Cyclops was a crybaby. Yeah, they make him this emotional being, It's like, all right, dude, you're supposed to be the leader of the X-Men. Show me some leadership, you know? Yes, costumes in comic book is way better. Even cartoons, and yes, Hollywood is cheap. I'm laughing. Wow, I love costumes too, and the symbols too. Yes, absolutely. Like, I have the Peace Walker symbol from, yeah, there it is, symbol from Metal Gear Solid. I just have a weak spot for that. I also love the Triforce even though it's been around since before it was known as the Triforce of Zelda. And then the actual Zelda royal symbol with like the Triforce in the middle and then the wing-like things coming off the side. Yeah, that's the best description I can give. I like the Thanos reference. Breaking the fourth wall is so refreshing. Yes, tell me about that scene where he signed this one cereal box with his real name, Ryan Reynolds. I thought that was awesome. Yes, Marvel versus DC B2 epic Batman and Superman fighting Marvel the bad guys. Yes, comic book be out since the 30s. Wow. Yeah, feel old yet? Nah. It makes me feel young every time I think about that. That means that in only 12 years, it'll be a century since those things have been out, which means that also stuff like the Looney Tunes are also about to turn 100 years old. Huh? Huh? Comics Explained is good. A channel to follow up and catch up on comics without reading them. Yes, I remember seeing that one. I didn't watch any videos, but I knew that there was a channel out there that did that. Yes, comic book is fantasy. The Bible is a true story. Happy Monday, everyone. You also get Patreon as an alternative to super chats. Actually, on the note of Patreons, someone brought that up. Patreon. Someone brought that up, and I said, yeah, I have had a Patreon page for 2 years. I just don't promote it because most people like to handle that by offering perks, and I'm like, there is just no way that I'm going to tell you guys to just watch me and why you should watch me. And if you give me like an extra dollar a month, that I am going to offer you more. Like, I have no skill, guys. Like, I just do this to just unwind and talk, and because I just love to tell stories and meet people. But me imagining turning this into my profession, it really intimidates me because I don't think I could handle it. But it would be nice to make extra money on the side. But honestly, I just feel weird telling people donate to me so that you can get a like close look or like extra content if you do. I just feel weird. That, and honestly, I know that if I make extra money, I can start investing on like equipment, but I just love the flexibility that I have. Sometimes I only feel like uploading a 30-second video and then coming back for a stream. Like, I don't want to appear like I'm just grabbing cash. This is so informal for me. Like, I don't even have a script. I never follow a script. I just don't. I'm not saying I wouldn't like it. I love what I'm doing. So if I trained or something or studied, I could turn this into a profession, right? But I just feel strange asking people for like money. So I don't know. I don't think I would ever promote my Patreon, but I'll consider in the future telling you guys, hey, this is my Patreon. There's no information in there, but if you want to give me a dollar or so, I just want to celebrate people's generosity. That's how I explained it to a friend who asked me if I've ever done that. And I'm like, yeah, it's just that, I don't know. I just cannot tell people to give me money. It's weird. Um, I promise I will watch the trailer. Yes, please do. I love your video so much. Very different. Thanks so much. I wish that I found more channels that are like this, like hanging out channels. So I said to myself, if I'm not finding it, how about if I create it? I know they're out there. I know there's people out there who do the same thing I do, like maybe 700 times better. But for me, it's like the crew that I have, you guys are so amazing. So I'm just happy to be able to run the show myself from time to time. Let's see, where did I stop at? I might do some reviews too. Extra money is blessing. You see the Predator trailer? I saw it in the theater, yeah, but honestly, I'm a textaholic before movies start, so I did not see the entirety of the trailer. I'm so sorry. You are welcome, Zamri. If I get a successful review, YouTube, I'll give you a shout out. Thanks a lot. I can't wait to see brand new movie of Predator. I very vaguely remember the one where, of course, Arnold is in it, and there's this character named Mac. I never forgot Mac because there are some trucks that have that name on the grill. Mac. So the old ones are crazy, 1987, 1990. I think the one I'm talking about is definitely 1987. That totally looks like late 1980s Arnold. But yeah, Merc. And then he totally got, like eaten or something. I forgot what happened to Merc. But yeah, I never forgot good old Merc. I need to catch up on those movies. There's also Alien versus Predator that came out in like 2004. But I never really watched that. I think I think Alien won. Did he win or did Predator win? Didn't Predator have like his crab face and then he was actually fighting for humanity or something? I don't know. Um, yes, 87 are very crazy. Danny Glover, that's part two. X Force dying in the movie was just absolutely that was my favorite part of the whole movie. And yes, you're right, 2004. See, yeah, girls' memory doesn't, fail very often. Um, I feel like there was so much more I wanted to say about Deadpool, but I'm telling you guys, I have like a retention disability when it comes to movies. I didn't really feel Alien versus Predator, though thought they tried too hard. I heard that more people had issues with that movie more than anything. So, where is the small fuzzy one? The small fuzzy one is behind my door, or at least he was 20 minutes ago. But he's quiet, so I think he gave up and he understands that mommy just doesn't have time for him right now. So yeah, he's somewhere. Um, I think I uploaded a video about him yesterday. No, I did not upload yesterday. I still have it saved. I will upload some dusty action for you, Rogue, momentarily. I promise. I gotta add maybe music to the background or something to like, because I don't want to upload a muted video. It's just that there's noise in the background, like refrigerator noise and all kinds of other noises. So, anyways, take PowerPoint notes. My memory isn't the greatest either. Isn't the greatest there. Um, I would have loved to just start streaming immediately after I saw the movie, but for some reason I just did not have like the voice for it. So you watch any superheroes TV show? No, I do not. I watched a very, very, very little bit of what's his face? What's his face? I am not going to remember his name, but this came out 2 years ago on Netflix. He's a brother, and he's not Blade, but he's someone. And what is his name? Everyone was talking about him. But anyways, and then there was also that lady, Jessica something. I didn't see any of that, but I hear that it was pretty good. And then there was also the Punisher. I didn't see any of that. But to answer your question, no. I just don't watch TV like that because when I was younger, I used to watch so much TV, and to me, television is just such a waste of time. That Jessica Jones, it's a waste of time. So I just do not want for more of my time to go wasted. Punisher was graphic, yeah. There was also the one with Daredevil, Kingpin. I watched a lot of that, but I didn't watch all of it. I think I watched most of the first season, but then again, I personally do not have a Netflix subscription. This was when I used to hang out with someone. But yeah, I enjoyed Daredevil a lot. There's something about people who are disabled and then they accomplish amazing things. I always find that as fascinating. Like they always say that, if you're a blind person, your hearing gets amplified and other junk. So to see that that in action, it's like, wow, it's something different. This is supposed to be a crippled character, but clearly he is not. So, love Daredevil. I was shocked how good it was. Yes, me too. I'm not big on fiction stuff or, I'm just not wild about watching anything. But Daredevil impressed me. And I'm one of those people who it's really hard to impress me. So I must say, Daredevil impressed me. Well, guys, I think I'm done. I think I've rambled enough, and I went over pretty much everything that I wanted to say about Deadpool and pretty much everything that I remember about him. So, Pink Kingpin is coming back. They just finished shooting. Cool. Oh my God, I will never forget that brutal scene where one of the episodes ends with him like closing an SUV's door on someone's head. And yeah, I will never forget that I saw that. I will never unsee that. And I'm like, the brutality of that just, oh. I've seen terrible things like in movies, but that to me just. All right, guys. Well, like always, thanks so much for joining me. And if you catch the stream later on, of course, leave your comments and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Let me know if you have seen Deadpool, what you liked, what you didn't like. And yeah, thanks so much. I'll see you soon. Happy Monday.